All right, we should be live on Facebook. Welcome to Monday with StreamGeeks.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to StreamGeeks Live.
We're hanging out in our newest studio today, and we're going to tell you about something that is very exciting, virtual tickets.
Yeah, this is something that I believe, call me crazy, I think it might be $1 billion market. And the reason why is because we all know live streaming is incredibly popular. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. But what about the world of sports, the world of music? They're not really hopping onto live streaming so much.
Well, I mean,
is.
we can certainly speak to some of our customers a lot using them for sports, but I get what you mean. There's definitely a huge drive for entertainment and sports and the like. Anything that requires a ticket sale to be there physically should be thinking about taking their viewers virtually as well.
Yeah, and kind of what I meant by the musicians that probably could be making more money, I think, live streaming online than they could be selling arenas out, selling out small venues, etc. If they could learn and get the technical implementation of how to sell virtual tickets, I believe artists, musicians, especially entertainers, are going to be able to make a lot more money. But there's tons of ways to do this. So today, we're going to tell you a little bit about how to sell virtual tickets. We've got a funny little video that Melissa's going to roll for you just to get you in.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
In the zone. All right?
It'll give you a good Monday laugh.
Learn how to sell virtual tickets. Monetize your live stream. Get those tickets going and make your fans happy. Of course, download our free guide at streamgeeks.us/make-money. Oh, Tess, slam dunked it. Great job there.
That is enough out of you.
Okay, so today's live show is all about virtual tickets.
Yes, we are going to be joined in the post show with a special guest from ToCast, which is one of the main platforms that we're going to discuss to take advantage of having a private live stream.
That's right. Oh, and we almost forgot about the Easter giveaway.
We almost forgot about the giveaway. If you have not heard about our one of our largest giveaways ever for houses of worship, make sure you sign up at ptzoptics.com/giveaway. We are hosting a very special all-inclusive giveaway that's going to be amazing for one lucky house of worship to win.
That's right. And we have extended the length of time for this giveaway. So the giveaway is open for all churches in the United States until 1 week before Easter. And that's when we will decide our winner. Now, next we have our NAB show, the National Association of Broadcasters show. It's the second week in April. We will be live streaming from the show floor from our booth in Central Hall. Don't forget to get a free passcode. That's how I give out those free passcodes too.
Yep.
Everyone get a
you
free
get
pass.
a free code. You get a free pass. You get a free pass. Seriously, though, you don't want to pay for a ticket. So if you're planning to visit our booth, make sure you get that free ticket and join us there. We've got so much fun content planned.
All right. And then finally, how to sell virtual tickets. That's what we're going to talk about today. I can see in the comments already you guys are interested in knowing the costs, obviously, so that you can quote this out for your customers, your partners, maybe your own events. We will be bringing on Greg Ellis from ToCast today. So I'm excited about that. We'll have him on the show. He'll be here for our post-show podcast. So we'll get a lot of the technical details set up. But first, Melissa, let's show off this cool camera slider we have set up because it is super cool. And I wanted to, oh, there it is. Look at that.
Brand new addition to our studio.
So we're excited to show this off. Gets a fun little look at our studio here. And just another fun little toy.
We've gotten some requests on are our cameras compatible with sliders, and this is a solution we're testing out and proving that yes, there is a solution for that, certainly for a rail system. You know what I was thinking? This is great practice for having the handheld microphones for NAB show. We're going to be pros by the end of this show.
So just want to do a quick demo just for the heck of it. So this baby will go back and forth, obviously, but will it turn as well? So here, let me just give a little quick example here. It's okay, so it's kind of like that. Ooh, look at that. So it's got the ability to pan, tilt, and zoom. We'll probably be using it for some of our and slide.
And
pan, tilt, zoom, and slide.
It's literally the electric slide.
Ooh. So the idea with this is that we should be able to do really cool like product demonstrations if there's a product that needs to be shown.
It's kind of a cinematic feel as well if you're trying to make some, powerful moment, powerful emotional moment, with a live stream.
So
you can emphasize that.
We will be definitely looking at that. So just wanted to show that off a little bit here. Now let's go over to our ToCast video. So I took a little video. By the way, I don't even think we told you guys. You can go to streamgeeks.us/tickets and you can actually watch the live stream through ToCast there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can go to streamgeeks.us/tickets.
So we can test it out right now.
We
live.
can test it out right now.
Well, let's do that for sure.
Let's do it. Let's test it out.
So we want you to head to streamgeeks.us/ticket.
Yes.
Right?
Ticket or tickets. I can't remember which one.
Ticket or tickets. Okay, well, let's figure that out.
There is a free, you can pay $1 to watch the stream, or you can use the free coupon code GEEK. Excuse me. So there's a free coupon code called GEEK.
All right, it's tickets with an S.
Looks like there's 3 people watching already.
3 people watching there. I did not even know this was happening. Okay.
So you can pay $1. And let's go ahead, Melissa, and roll our video showing how we set up our gated content, our gated live stream. So first of all, this is the ToCast new platform. I'm going to go ahead and create a new live channel. And we'll just call it Virtual Ticket. You can see here that ToCast features HTML5, which works seamlessly on pretty much any device or platform. And once we create our ToCast setup here, we can go into actions and start customizing our event. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and upload a thumbnail to our theme so that it shows up in the player itself. And we can also set up, I understand, with the new version, a like kind of commercial to play to kind of get people enticed to buy. Now, over here, you can see some options for enabling viewer count, which I did. And you can copy and paste that URL. I guess that's an embed code, a video embed code into your website. You can see I've done that. And you go ahead and put that anywhere you want. So
is there going to be a separate chat for that?
I don't know if it has its own chat. Now, again, if you want to try this out, there is a, you can use the free coupon code GEEK to get in there. So you don't have to pay $1. And then it's going to ask you for a valid email. Now, the other thing that you can do here is you can, on the next thing here, is you can obviously get an encoder set up. So you can RTMP stream the same way you would with YouTube or Facebook, and you can stream that directly to ToCast. So you can see it says the media is offline right now because I wasn't streaming at the time of recording this, but it gives you some instructions for setting up vMix, Telestream, Wirecast, OBS, etc. Essentially, you can just log in through the API. Now here we can set up a payment price for either pay-per-view or subscription. So I really like that idea of giving people the ability to have a complete subscription. So you can see I set up a price of $1 and then a duration of 120 minutes. And then it starts upon payment. Now, I also added a coupon code here so that everyone could get in for free using the coupon code GEEK. So that gets you 100%, or it's a free pass, essentially, for the pay-per-view. So it's really quite easy. It's like a web browser-based interface here. And I tried to do a nice long coupon code, and it gave me an error. It has to be a 4 to 6 letter code, I realized. So I changed that to just say GEEK. But there it is, Fast Eddie, and thank you, Tess. Tess is showing that up on the screen there. StreamGeeks.us/tickets to see this live right now. We're streaming to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and ToCast. This is the most streaming we've ever done in one day. So now if I reload the page here, you will see that it puts up what's called, I consider, a paywall, right? It requires a $1 payment or a coupon code. So I went ahead and did that, and then it's going to ask you for your email address as well. So I went ahead and put in paul.richards@streamgeeks.us, submit. Yep, and bam. So that's the back end of ToCast, showing you how to set up a paywall for a live stream. Very simple and easy to use. It does a lot more. There's video on demand. There's packages of videos. There's playlists. There's analytics. There's more monetization options. That's not everything, but I just wanted to give you guys a brief little look at how to sell virtual tickets. It literally should be that easy. And the guys over at ToCast are very smart guys. You're right, Fast Eddie. Everyone seems to love ToCast for this, so we had to pull him in. We're going to pull Greg Ellison in just a moment and give you guys an idea of what it's like, what's going on out there. It's obviously a humongous market, but how does it all work? And we're going to break it down with Greg in just a little bit.
Absolutely. And I think to address one of the comments on Twitch, Green Eggs and Spam says it looks like kind of a basic player, but I do believe, you can work with them to customize a player to suit your needs.
Yeah, and that's a good question for Greg. He's going to be on the show in just a minute here. I know that there's a newer player. Actually, I might have used the wrong one, but the newer player should give you the ability to show a commercial right as someone comes on, and then still have the ability to sell the tickets.
Nice.
Right
So
there.
there's a lot you can do with it, and this is a very basic test. So don't be discouraged by that if you think the player that we showed is more basic.
So let's go over to the podcast.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
We are going to bring Greg on and interview him with you guys. So let's do it.
I wasn't sure if we had an in-between player or something. I'm smiling. And
Okay. All right, hold on. Here we go, guys. 1 second. Boom, boom, and boom. Our main producer today is out, so thank you for bearing with us today, everybody. All right, Greg, how you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great. Thank you for being here.
Always happy to be with you, Paul.
Where's Tess? Tess is, I think, on her way still, so we'll give her a second to get over here. But I have to say, Greg, I was definitely impressed with the simplicity of what you have set up here.
Well, that's the goal that we went after when we designed this. It was initially an 100% do-it-yourself kind of approach. And I would say probably half of our customers almost never talk to us as they go along unless they want to do something special. They just get in, they set up, and they're off and running.
That's so funny you say that, because it's like they never talk to you. I wonder why. I'm just kidding. No, that's kind of hilarious.
Well, we have, for example, we have a lot of Southeast Asian auto racing that goes on under the paywall.
Really?
And we've got one customer in particular who was running 70, 80,000 a month through pay-per-view and never talked to us until he wanted to do something different than the basics.
Wow, that's incredible.
So that's how we designed it. That's how it's supposed to be set up, and so far it's worked out pretty well that way.
Awesome. Well, let's get started with some basic questions I have prepared for you, and then we'll jump into the chat. I know the chat has a lot of questions for you guys. I've been working with Greg for years. ToCast has been a great platform, but the new paywall specifically, I think, is going to open up a lot of doors. So let's start with the question about, pricing, because I know everyone's wondering about that. So what is it like as a customer of ToCast to get started? how much they need to be charging people to break even, how much does it cost if 1 million people start watching. I know there's a lot of fears out there about getting into this. Can you talk to us a little bit about the pricing?
Well, the minimum price is around $2. We absolutely don't let anyone go below that, just because then people get upset because they're not pulling in enough after they pay the expenses. The average price that most of our customers use is around 15 US. Now, especially with the new paywall, the old paywall handled Euro and USD. The new paywall will let you price in any currency in the world that you want. Also supports 12 different interface languages, by the way, including Russian and Japanese, etc. But the majority of our customers price around 15 US. If you're doing sports content that is professional, that tends to get in the 25 to 40 US range.
Okay, interesting. So that's what
So,
they're charging, right? That's what they're
yeah.
charging their customers. What does it look like from a ToCast standpoint just to get started? And how much does it, obviously it goes up with the amount of people that are viewing the live stream, I understand.
Well, actually, we have a flat fee per purchase transaction and a flat commission, or a percentage commission, rather, excuse me. So we charge 9.9% commission and 40 cents per transaction. From that, we pay PayPal or credit card transaction costs, and cover all the administrative costs for handling refunding, dealing with disputes, etc. And so if you have a $10 USD price, you pay $1.39 per ticket. We do not charge a monthly fee. This is where we get to the main difference between the way we operate and most of the paywall providers, is there is no monthly fee at all. You do have to be on our minimum premium plan, which is $165 a month if you're paying monthly, or $1,500 a year if you prepay the annual. So that's $125 a month.
Okay. So
but
there
you
is a
can
monthly
hire, you can use ToCast for one event, correct?
Absolutely. We have something we call event pricing. I think you're probably familiar with that, Tess. It is a bulk buy of anything from 1 terabyte of streaming service on up to any amount you want. You've got 12 months to use it, but most people buy just what they need for each individual event, run their event, and do it that way.
Right. Do you guys want to take some audience questions now,
Yeah.
or do you want to
Definitely.
wait till
Yeah.
after more of an interview?
I just wanted to get the pricing thing out of the way because I know everyone's going to ask about that.
Great. This one is from Hank. Will you guys be at NAB Las Vegas?
We don't have a booth, Hank, but we will be there. Several of us, in fact, most of the company's coming this year. So we will be there visiting partners and customers.
Looks like my Facebook comments aren't coming through, but I know there are some in the Facebook chat. Quite a few folks have asked, can ToCast show a preview before people pay? Say if you were a comedian.
We lost his audio.
Oh, sorry.
What are you doing?
Sorry, I screwed up. There we go.
Hey, I always like seeing myself.
Sorry about that.
We have a ability to load a small preview video that will play in place of the splash screen. Most people do a little promo video of about 30 seconds and put it up.
Excellent.
Gotcha.
Okay, where can the live events be streamed to? Your own webpage or website, or can this be used with Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch?
Okay, the paywall cannot be used with Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. So if you're using the paywall, you stream primarily to your own website. We will create an event page for you, and there are several other people who will create event pages, but the vast majority of our customers stream directly to their own website.
Yeah.
So you just embed it, the stream from ToCast right into there.
Right. Oh, and by the way, the Facebook, Twitch, etc., we can simul-stream to those platforms, but it's the paywall that's the problem, because none of them allow the paywall to come through. They
Right.
want you to use their store.
And to address the player question from earlier, can you select different variations of video players?
We allow you to, we're based on Teo Player, if you're familiar with that. But we let you retheme, so you can put your own watermark up. You can retheme to have the colors that match your business. Right now, we don't have any reskinning. It's in the future, but it just isn't there right now. In terms of connecting to other players, we do support third-party players, but the paywall has to be integrated into a framework, and therefore it pretty much has to use our player.
Okay. What are things to avoid or beware with for paywall events? Things to consider.
Um, the biggest one is thinking you're going to have the same audience that you have in a free event, and therefore not advertising and marketing properly. So this is just like, I'll use a concert, musical concerts as an example, because that's really where our paywall usage got started, was streaming live concerts that were held in different places in the world, and then making, again, under the paywall, the on-demand version or replay version available after. And what happens is, if the concert comes to your town, the promoter is on the radio, you constantly see posters, you see a lot of marketing. Unfortunately, a lot of people put up streaming, and they think because someone has 100,000 Facebook or 500,000 Facebook followers, that all of those people will automatically see the ads and come to the paid event. It doesn't happen that way. You have to promote it properly. That's the number one thing to avoid. The others are, if you're watching sports, you try to broadcast at far too high of a bit rate, or you don't broadcast with multiple bit rates. And since people are paying, they're much less tolerant of not being able to watch if they're at Starbucks and everyone else is watching video at the same time. So you really have to make sure you provide multiple qualities of video under the paywall as well.
That's a good question I'd like to follow up on. So if you are the broadcaster, you stream to ToCast, you're responsible for providing like a standard definition and a high definition yourself as the broadcaster?
The vast majority of people, yes. If you have a really big event and you're willing to pay for it, we can set up and do live transcoding, so you get ABR type approach. Our player is adaptable bitrate, so if you provide multiple bit rates, it will be fully adaptable. But at our price points, people generally don't want to pay for the live transcoding.
I gotcha. So then let me ask you this then. At your price points, you said, what is your target customer with the price points that you have set up?
Well, I mean, we generally get the AV production company. For example, London Fashion Week has hired a number of London-based AV production teams, but has used our platform and sold tickets for years. So our customer in that case is actually the 5 to 10 person AV production company. We do have universities who also put up and paywall some of their events, things like Step Sing at, I can't even remember, Samford University. It's an annual fundraiser and performance event that they put behind the paywall. They'll use it, but for the most part, it's a 5 to 10 person AV production company that goes out and does event production.
Gotcha. Cool. Go ahead, Des.
Here's an interesting comment, suggestion, or question from Drake. Can you post a link to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, hosting a pre-show, and then connect to the paywall site?
We've got a number of people who do that, yes.
Yeah.
And right now with the simulcast, you can actually have the pre-show that goes into the player before the paywall comes up. That's not usually what you want to do, because you want to do pre-selling, and you want to do pre-selling right up until, especially that last 15 minutes before a show starts. But, people will post 2 players and have a little pre-show run sometimes.
Let's talk about your player. I understand that there's some special features with the player we should maybe mention. I got a chance to set it up on streamgeeks.us/tickets, and I noticed that you can pay right through the player. That's an amazing feat in itself. What else can you do with this player? I know most people are betting it onto their own website. I know you can. I think you can set up like a sales video inside the player as well to help sell the tickets.
Well, that's the little preview video I was talking about. And a lot of people they'll put the paywall up 30 days or so before the event, and then they will run the little loop video that is promoting it, selling the event. Frequently for live events that happen annually or every month, they'll put a little clip from past events up. Your typical television type promotion. This is just television. When you get right down to it, you're charging people to watch pay television. So, you use the same promotional and you use the same events. A lot of people will put up advertising because our player does support pre-roll and post. And we're also able to configure on an individual account basis if you want mid-roll ads. So if you've got a large enough audience, you could do the payroll and have ads as well.
That's interesting. It seems like you're kind of dipping into multiple honeypots there, but hey, if it works, it works. I guess why not, right?
We don't have anything to do with the advertising except enabling the ability to use it in the player. Generally, that's because if you're broadcasting something like a very, very large sports program like a Premier League match, you've got a big enough audience to do advertising, and you're probably not going to put a paywall, but you also have a valuable enough type of content that you're probably going to charge a subscription or a paywall fee anyway, and then you're going to put advertising up, just like cable TV does. The majority of customers that will use the paywall, however, are people who find they have audiences in the 5, 10, 20,000 range, maybe something like Ultimate Frisbee, which uses the paywall on their events for their national and international championships, which they'll get 100,000 viewers 3 or 4 days of a championship tournament. And they'll have the paywall up, and they generally, they'll sell single match and full weekend, full tournament tickets. They won't put advertising up, even though they could potentially. But for the most part, if you don't have at least 500,000 eyeballs, your event advertising doesn't work for your event. So for the most part, people who put a paywall up aren't going to advertise.
How much do they charge, by the way, the magical frisbee people?
Ultimate frisbee people?
No, I know. I just thought that'd be funny. The magical frisbees.
The last pricing I saw was 10 US for the US one. It was 10 US for a single day, all the matches in a single day, and something like 30 US for 4 days of matches. The Japanese tournament charges 1,000 yen for every match. So it's run by different people. They're all fundraising. For the tournaments, everyone knows it's for the association. So there's a bit of a difference too. We had a Bolivian football club, that was running into hard times. So they had a special match with a Brazilian club, and they put it up, and they were charging a variety of tickets, much in the way that you might ask for donations. They had everything from 20 pesos up to, I guess, bolivars, the 20 bolivars up to, the equivalent of about 100 US. So it just depends on how people are using it.
Question coming in from Josh, kind of a 2-in-1. Do you have education pricing, and can you download the live stream afterwards?
On the former, no, we don't. On the latter, yes, you can. Most of our customers, our pricing tends to be so low, it's below what most companies charge on the education pricing discounts anyway. And in terms of the auto archiving and download, yeah, we make that available. A lot of our customers, we don't have a pay to download, but the broadcaster that's what we call our customer base who promotes the content. They can download and make it available with a download link later.
Excellent. What do we have here next? Fast Eddie says, what have you learned about what to charge? What works best for charging events?
That's wide open.
It depends, right?
It depends on the content, depends on your audience. If you're South American, for example, the economic situation, you're going to charge about the equivalent of 5 to 10 US for just about any event. Because if you go much above that, people aren't going to, the audience, you're going to exclude too much of the audience. If you're doing youth sports, grandpa and grandma will pay pretty high fees. People generally charge around 20 to 25 US. What have we learned about it? The key point is that if you charge about, for every $10 US you charge on your ticket, you're going to lose about the first putting up of the paywall is going to cost you about 90% of the audience you would get if it were free. And beyond that, you lose about 1% of your audience for every time you double your price above about $10. So you just have to figure out how hungry your audience is. Right. New Zealand stock car racing doesn't lose any of the audience. They go up as high as 50, 60 US in order to and get a worldwide audience that stays the same no matter what.
And what was that?
Because people are hungry. It's New Zealand stock car racing. It's a really odd kind of racing. If you think Adams, the car that the Adams family used to drive, it's a bunch of cars that look like that racing around a track.
Interesting.
It is an interesting, if you like stock car racing, it's not NASCAR. It's not what, not Formula One. It's something only New Zealanders usually are used to watching. And so they hit an expat audience plus their in-country audience, and they get a consistent audience no matter what they charge.
One of the thoughts I was thinking about is while we're on this topic, is the subscription option.
Yes.
That seems to really come into play for people who are streaming, quite often, obviously.
Maybe a venue of some sort.
Yeah, like a venue. Somebody who streams regularly could take advantage of that. And I wanted to ask you about the ability to offer, you can offer, I remember this now, multiple ticket prices. How does that work? Can you offer multiple? Oh, okay. So wait a second. I think I can answer my own question, but I'd like to hear you answer it. But I believe that you could potentially offer a ticket for like an hour and then have a ticket for 2 hours, and then have another ticket for a month subscription, right? So you can break down the ticket price by offering like now I'm thinking about this, like here's the sports game, but here's the sports game plus the post-show interviews and backstage, and then here's all that plus a month subscription, right? So you can break it down into different pieces.
Absolutely. And people do that all the time. We have, I guess the best example of some of that isn't really the one-off event. It's, say, a trade show or some kind of training conference. You can buy one session. You can buy session after session after session by buying different size windows. And then you can buy like a ticket that might include the special selected artist concert at the end of the day at the trade show. And these types of things happen and are usable all the time. At one point, we were even down to the 1 minute by 1 minute. We had a celebrity hairstylist who was selling 1 minute by 1 minute views of special stylings he was doing. But we got off of that.
Minute.
We got off of that because the 1 minute period's a little bit ridiculous. I think our minimum limit right now is 1 hour.
Okay.
Certainly a few more questions here for you if you don't mind. Hank says, ToCast has pay-per-view for on demand as well, after the event, or is it just for the live content?
No, you can do pay-per-view for, we have what we call a package where you can embed a package player that has your live channel that is included in there, and it will play. And then as soon as the live event's over, you can upload your archive, or you can, I see what you're doing here. So you're creating an example.
I'm not. That's just some B-roll, but I just to show
Okay.
this picture here, Greg, and I'll just pause it. On the left-hand side, there's this video on demand area.
Right. Click on packages.
That's just a video.
Packages are not just video. I was just going to say, we have the concept where you can combine live channels and on demand into the same player, if you will. And that player can have the paywall put on top of it, which will let you buy the live event and then get to see the on demand after if you've paid one price, or you can have a shorter window, which is only for the live event.
Let me see if I can get in here for you. But yeah, I mean that's a good point. So you could sell it afterwards as well.
Cliff is asking, do you have a primer on live streaming events and pricing?
The answer is we do have kind of some best practices blogs more than primers that go over how you should do this. And if you go to our blog pages and just do searches for pay-per-view, you'll find and live events, you'll find more than one blog that gives you best practices for that. In terms of the pricing, we generally try to stay away from that. We'll sit and talk you through it, but it varies so much audience by audience that we try to stay away from telling people how to price. Too many variables. So for that conversation, we generally have to know what your content is, what your general audience has been on live previously, and how you run your business.
Can you add a chat feature?
That's a good question.
There is not one in the player, but there are a number of free chat utilities that usually can be embedded. The reason we don't have one in the player right now tends to do more with mobile usage, because chat on top of mobile can obscure all the content. And so, if you have something else, it flips you out of the content, so you lose your viewing. We are looking at overlay chat capabilities, but we don't have one now. Chatwing is the one that most of our customers use, and they just embed it on the page someplace on the web page where people watch.
Yeah, I was going to suggest Chatwing solution.
Yeah.
Do you want me to keep going?
I guess.
It's a hot topic.
Let's go
for
through
our
the
audience,
questions.
so if you don't mind. And will your analytics do IP address and times yet?
Not IP address. I don't think for privacy reasons, we're probably never going to be passing on the IP address of the viewers. In terms of the times that is coming, I would imagine that you'll see that within 2 to 3 months at the most.
This one might be more for you, Paul. Last year at NAB, WOWs and Akamai were hawking low delay streaming. I never heard any more on this. Is that available?
Yeah, I'm guessing low delay is just kind of a given at this point.
Yes and no. A lot of the talk about low delay and true low latency it's there. You can do WebRTC streaming. You can do SRT, which WOWs is involved with that. And the Akamai solution is slightly different tech. The problem with all of them is that right now they are viewer or audience size limited. So you get stuck with somewhere between about 900 viewers or so on WebRTC. And if you go up to, I think SRT's up to about 2,000 to 5,000 simultaneous viewers right now, although I may be off on that. They may have gotten that number up higher. It's a scalability issue, And right now, what we're doing on the low latency side that we find serves the customer base better is we have both a direct HLS ingest capability as well as a special what we call our lower latency channels that will give you in the 8 to 10, 8 to 12 second range of latency.
Excellent. I think that covers it for us.
Awesome. Well, Greg, thank you so much for coming on, covering a bunch of great questions from our audience. Let's see here. Let me switch this camera. And we really enjoyed having you on our show. And we hope that we can come up with some case studies for you, do some cool streams. But we have one plan we can't talk about. But I just think it's a huge market. Thank you so much for coming on. And that's our show, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this. We do have a download. And I actually have a course on selling virtual tickets that I set up actually about a year ago with Bid Summit. They made almost $250,000 live streaming a conference, and we talked about it. It probably could have been, they were selling tickets for $100, and then I think $200 for the tickets plus all the content for a year. And I think they, looking at your platform gave me a better idea of maybe how they could make more money in the future, parsing out individual topics and keynotes, for example. I didn't even know you could do that. So just really cool stuff, eye-opening. Thank you so much, Greg.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Tess. And Fast Eddie, thank you too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.
Welcome to the Post Show Podcast with your hosts, Paul Richards, Tess Protesto, and Michael Luttermoser. Let's talk shop.
Michael's not even here, Tess.
That's the wrong button.